You're watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
We're following this breaking news. All lanes just reopening on the 5 South near Camp Pendleton after this fatal wrong-way crash. Tough to see. This happened around 2:45 this morning, just north of Las Pulgas Road. You can see all that damage to those 2 cars involved in this video. Sadly, 1 person is dead here, 1 other person in the hospital. Authorities are out there still investigating. Hurricane Milton weakened overnight after slamming into Florida's west coast as a Category 3 storm. Glad you're with us on this Thursday. I'm Eric Connors.
And I'm Netta Iranpour. At least 4 deaths have been reported after a series of tornadoes ripped through the state yesterday. So we want to start off now with meteorologist Evan Noorani to see where Milton is now. And I mean, it went through that state pretty quickly, Evan.
Yeah, I mean, overnight we saw it make landfall. It made landfall yesterday evening, continued across the state, the central portion of it, and now is exiting on the eastern side of it as a Category 1 hurricane. It made landfall, however, as a Category 3 storm. 16 inches of rain recorded in St. Petersburg. As we head through the rest of the day today, we're expected to see it continue to hold on to a lot of its strength as a Category 1 storm before fizzling out across the Atlantic as a post-tropical cyclone. But you can see how its path made its way right across the central portion of the state of Florida, and that was just south of Tampa. That was where we recorded many, many inches of rain. We recorded many tornadoes that were recorded mainly on the northern, upper right quadrant of that storm. So we're going to continue to track what is now the remnants of this storm, but we do want to send things over to CBS News correspondent Christian Benavides in Tampa, Florida, where things have calmed down just a bit after Milton moved through last night.
Hurricane Milton came roaring ashore on Florida's west coast overnight, bringing with it life-threatening winds, heavy rains, and dangerous storm surge.
I hear a lot of wind outside.
Bradenton resident Angie Samaro and her family are riding out the storm at home, located outside of the evacuation zone.
We knew that we wanted to stay
Closer to the Gulf Coast in Newport Richey, residents and their pets took shelter in this middle school gym.
We take this stuff serious, and we live in a flood zone.
In the days leading up to the storm, millions were urged to evacuate. Last night, Florida's governor said it's too late for those who did not heed those earlier warnings.
You have to shelter in place and just hunker down.
Already, there are reports of deaths, injuries, and extensive property damage after tornadoes swept through parts of the state ahead of Milton's arrival. In Tampa, the storm struck here as residents were still cleaning up from Helene and dumped 3 to 5 inches of rain an hour. Tropicana Field had been set up as a base for National Guard and emergency workers earlier this week. Last night, strong winds ripped the stadium's roof to shreds. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Tampa, Florida.
Oh, tough to see that roof. Our coverage of Hurricane Milton continues online. Our sister station in Tampa will be broadcasting throughout the morning, and you can watch our free streaming channel, CBS 8 Plus, which is available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku.
Turning to other news here today, immigrants who grew up in the U.S. after being brought here illegally are waiting to see if they will still be protected from deportation.
There's a big hearing on DACA, which stands for the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals Program. CBS 8's Regina Yurita live near the border with how this impacts so-called dreamers here. Regina?
Yeah, good morning, Eric and Netta. To the federal court in New Orleans, we'll hear arguments that could decide the fate of hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants who came as minors to the U.S. and have been protected from deportations and have also been allowed to work here under a work permit. It's been a long legal battle to keep this program, and that's because DACA has given dreamers who have established lives in the U.S. opportunities even though they don't hold citizenship or legal residency status. According to the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce, the San Diego region is home to more than 45,000 dreamers. It's why the organization Alliance San Diego sent a delegation to New Orleans for the hearing. They say they're standing with dreamers and protecting the dignity of millions of young immigrants whose safety and lives remain at risk. Republican leaders have before rejected the program, saying that DACA is illegal because of the way it was created. The hearing won't rule immediately on the policy. Whatever they decide, the case will then end up at the U.S. Supreme Court. So back out here, we do know that outside of the federal courthouse in New Orleans, already thousands of demonstrators have lined up, including Alliance San Diego. Some people from Alliance San Diego who have made it to the state and to ahead of that hearing to hear a little bit more about the policy. That's latest here in San Isidro. I'm Regina Rita, CBS 8.
Regina, thank you. This just in here. Inflation eased last month. The Labor Department says the Consumer Price Index fell 2.4% in September from the year before. That's down from a 2.5% annual rate in August. Month-to-month prices were up 0.2% from last month, and the Federal Reserve will meet again next month and could consider another interest rate cut. Well, the Padres now getting ready for a winner-take-all game in Los Angeles tomorrow after losing to the Dodgers in Game 4 of the National League Division Series last night, and it wasn't even close. We were just off.
It was
baseball.
not a pretty game. Our hearts are a little broken today, but hey, they have another chance.
That's right.
The score was 8-0. CBS 8's Jake Carriani with a recap.
Well, nothing went right for the San Diego Padres from the second batter of the game at Petco Park. Mookie Betts launched a solo home run, and the Dodgers were off and running. Will Smith would add a 2-run home run, the longest home run of the postseason at 432 feet. His first hit of the postseason as well in the third inning. And L.A. never looked back. The Padres struggled all day at the plate, 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. San Diego now has not scored a run in 15 innings against Los Angeles. This series is all evened up after the 8-0 loss.
Fernando, where do you think the struggles with the offense came from tonight?
They just executed. It's a bullpen. They attack us, and they were better to simple as that.
You know, they came in with a reliever mindset, you know, just trying to pitch to the edge and until they need to come into the zone, you know, and they executed perfectly, all of them.
You know, understand right there, let on some base runners, so it wasn't really an option today.
Did coming back quickly, what was your take on that and how much that had to do with anything tonight?
No, I liked that the balls coming out of my hand. You know, I really didn't feel like I shot myself in the foot too much, which I feel like I'd been doing, so I felt good out there.
Dylan Cease ineffective for San Diego off of short rest, just 1 2/3 innings. He gave up 3 earned runs, and now all of the attention turns towards Friday night, a winner-take-all Game 5 up in Los Angeles. For the Padres, they will turn to their veteran ace, Yu Darvish. As for the Dodgers, they have some options, maybe throw more of those bullpen arms or throw Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who started Game 1 in this series. The winner will face the New York Mets, who took down the Philadelphia Phillies in the NLDS. Until then, I'm Jake Arriani. We'll go ahead and send it back to you.
Okay, so yes, we have hope. The winner of tomorrow's game will go on to play the Mets, as Jake just mentioned. That'll be in the National League Championship Series. Petco Park will host a watch party for tomorrow's game. Join all the fellow Friar faithful together watching this. You can buy tickets online. They're just $5 to be there in that atmosphere. Still energizing. Of course, I know everyone's kind of depressed last night.
No, we're down, but we're not
but
out,
that's okay.
everybody.
It's not done.
No, let's go.
We
Friar faithful. Keep the faith.
2-2 just means we're even.
Yeah.
That's it.
So,
yeah.
starting
I mean,
over.
one game.
It's cool.
That's right. I
Bring
think we got to
your
pick
best.
that energy back up.
We got. Hey, we beat him in Dodger Stadium before.
Exactly.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Let's do
We've
it
done
again.
it before.
On Sunday.
We'll do it again.
My morning show positivity here.
I like it. I like it. I understand last night's, bit of a downer, but you should be waking up this morning feeling hopeful.
Tell our players to flush it and move on.
But that's right, and you should be flushing it and moving on now. It is going to be another summer-like day out there across San Diego County. We have the fog out along the coastline, not as much though as what we've dealt with earlier this week. So, for example, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all days where we had some pretty dense fog out there, limiting flights in and out of San Diego International. We are not expecting that to be much of an issue today because we have that at least about 4 miles of visibility. I mean, Miramar, Kearney Mesa, Carlsbad is at 6 miles. Fallbrook's one of the only trouble spots really that we're looking at. Brownfield 2 at 1.5 miles. Now, your forecast for the day shows the farther east you go, the warmer those temperatures are going to be. This is nothing new for us. We have seen that the fog and onshore flow has has helped to keep the coastline in the upper 60s and low 70s, mid 70s for San Diego and Coronado, 80 for Mira Mesa, 90 for Santee and El Cajon. La Mesa is going for a high of 84. Chula Vista 73. Up in North County, there's no difference there. You got those 70s along the coastline. In some cases, just the upper 60s. 81 for Vista, 87 for Escondido. You make it to Ramona, you're jumping all the way to the 90s at 92 this afternoon. And the mountains and deserts in particular are where things are staying very hot. Now, we have some changes in the forecast that are going to start to bring us to cooler temperatures. The temperatures that you see here, your current temperature out the door, 64 degrees with overcast skies. Those afternoon highs are going to start to move into the 60s as we get into next week. Take a look at what we see for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. We're going to be in that cooler fall-like range after a consistent drop in temperatures that will start on Saturday. So today and tomorrow, still in that warmer summer-like range. We start to slide daily all the way through next week. Doesn't look like it'll be long-lasting. We do get another warm-up toward next weekend, but at least this stretch of next week's temperatures is cooler than normal. Let's check in on traffic. 6:10 on the clock right now. So far, things are quiet out there. We will take you to one crash that has popped up that could be causing some delays. It's on the shoulder of the 54 eastbound before the 125, not causing any major backups this morning. Let's check in on your border wait times, where it's a 110-minute wait at the San Ysidro Port of Entry, nearly 2 hours. Otay Mesa Port of Entry going to run you about an hour 40. Ned and Eric.